Hello everyone, welcome to today's video in which I will show you a rhino-wasp flank that my opponent played and that was very well executed, so I wanted to share it with you. Okay, those were the cards we could choose. I went with the missile specialist because it had a tank and long range and unit with a bit of GPS, so I was good with that. And he went for aerial. So I expected an aggro on this side because he had a lot of space to place the saber and hounds, and that's an aggro set. And even though there was the anti-armor cannon tower, it was to defend. It's easy to kill it for the saber. So I was really expecting something on my right side. I displayed a bit standard and defensive. It's a 69 situation because we are completely opposed in our display way. He went for the crawlers as expected, and that was an aggro situation. So let's see how it went. That moment I was glad because I targeted the saber-tooth first. Unfortunately, his crawlers went for the tower and debuffed me on time. But I was lucky enough to debuff his tower and get the win on this run. I had to address the aggro issue. So I went for Fangs, late arrival Fangs, in case in round 3 there was a Wasp drop. He couldn't drop them here, there or there because the Fangs will kill them. And he went for the Wasp, which is logical because he's aerial specialist and he has more attack and HP than usual. I went with 2 arc lights expecting to kill his hounds and crawlers before getting killed by the saber, and I placed the missile unfortunately where I placed his shield. Unfortunately, as you could see, both my arc lights were killed instantly, so I had no defense against the aggro that was coming. So many hounds, wasp, crawlers and late fangs. So let's see our deployments. I went with Fangs in front of my arc lights and range on the arc lights, expecting, you see, to connect directly with the hounds and crawlers. I went with the missile over the wasp, late crawlers, so in my mind the front line was not safe but a little bit safer. Unfortunately, what I didn't expect that round is that he put 3 wasps there. That was the beginning of the rhino-wasp flank. At this round he picked the mass-produced rhino. I noticed that later. So round 3, I'm having 3 set of wasps on my flank, only 1 fang to defend, and 1 marksman. So let's see how I could handle this. So the arc lights did better, they stayed alive longer. Unfortunately, the wasp wrecked me, debuffed me, and attacked me from behind. So even though I could get the debuff, there was still a big issue. Let's see the deployment. He deployed 2 Rhino level 2. I expected Rhino level 1s, but not level 2 right away, even though he had the card that made them mass produce, so 20% attack and HP less. I had no DPS unit to deal with them on the side. I was 1 step behind because I displayed 3 sets of Mustangs to take care of the Wasp, and I expected my marksman maybe to kill the Rhino while they were popping up. If they were level 1, maybe that could have worked. On the front side, I didn't do any change because I didn't have enough credits. I even rapid resupply, you see, to buy the range on the Mustang, so that was not a good move. I was already behind on my economy and he saved some, so he dealt better with his economy. And as you can see, the Rhino tank the Mustang shots, so the Wasp can go through. And that's when problems started. Because then the Rhino could come and yeah, I could kill one with my marksman, but there was a second, there were the Wasp, and the front line was getting wrecked at the same time because of the Wasp that I couldn't deal with, since I didn't invest in Mustang on the left side. Let's see how I enter this flank. I use Steel Bolt to target the Rhino and Sledges to slow down the Rhino. Even though they would get one shot by the Rhino, they would slow them down. What I didn't expect at this moment, he popped them level 2 already. Even though they were weaker because of the card, level 2 they were already strong. And he didn't have to invest much on the left side of the map because he was winning the front. He could just invest in level 2 units right away and try to do a push on the tower. So let's see how I handle this front. But I trusted that the Steel Balls, which is the standard reaction, would kill the Rhino and the Mustang would kill the Wasp. I didn't expect Wraith level 2. Let's see. Okay, I killed the Rhino as expected. I killed the Wasp as expected. Unfortunately, my marksman gets killed before he could finish the Wraith. Okay, round 6, he took the HP. He already had buffed the tower twice, so his units had already plus 30% HP, so even though the units were mass produced, they really were tanky. Like 70k for the Rhinos and 42k for the Wraith. He just had to click on the armor and I would be dead right away because then the Mustangs couldn't do anything against the Wraith or the Rhino. I had a real issue. So let's see how I handle this deployment. Went with the range on the balls to aggro more. Anti-air on the Mustang, another sledge. But you see, I'm one step behind for one reason, is that I keep borrowing money. I tried a push on the tower, but he felt that I would be doing something and he placed a missile. I was helping my front with my missile here, but I could have flanked, I could have done something. Here he added crawlers, and except this arc light, I had no anti-shaft and no crawlers to protect the line. Okay, I could target the Rhino right away with the range. I could deal with the crawlers fortunately, and I could handle most of the wasps but not all of them. I went with the Void Eyes, expecting to set a line here to kill the Sabers, and he went with the Scorpio. You could tell me, yeah, put a Scorpio here, but Scorpio is slow. It shots every 4.5 seconds, so it's really hard. And I tried already to use Scorpio for this kind of flank, and it didn't work out. So I went for the cheap units that had range and charge shot. Charge shot is very effective on medium units. So I expected to defend my front line here with the Void Eyes. So I was always in a responsive mode, and I was not the one leading actually. And my push here, I didn't expect it to work, especially that once the flank is working, usually they put them here for a direct aggro on the tower, because you display your unit in a way to defend the flank. So usually this side is a bit weak to rhino-wasp, and that's true. I only had level 2 sledges and an arclight, so it was very weak for an aggro on this side. So let's see how we deployed and then played around. I went with a line of Void Eyes to try to kill the Saber and whatever it took. As expected, the Rhino-wasp and ground specialization, so as soon as they shot something, they almost kill it. They could do much damage to the steel balls, especially the level 2 here. I went with the melting points to help the steel balls and expecting to put a second one here and maybe there later on with energy diffraction and electromagnetic barrage. I put some crawlers to try to prevent him from rushing too fast to the tower. That's usually how the rhino flanks happen and how the display is. So yeah, I get the rhinos. Unfortunately, there are many wasps and I cannot do anything against them because I'm single target and they come in packs. The Wraith, even though they are mass produced, are very strong with the buff from the tower and the card and armor enhancement. Honestly, my left side was very weak, so it didn't put in danger the Scorpio level 3, so he won logically. Even though I lost, I wanted to show you guys how the rhino-wasp flank is played. So there are many answers to it. This is the one I usually do. Doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it works. A wraith with degeneration can be used to decrease the rhino progress. But the guys in front of us can also use the degeneration beam, so that puts you in a very hard position to defend, and you have to get one step ahead. I could have flanked here, I could have flanked here, but I think my main mistake is round 2 or 3. I should have put already units defending the flank so that when he put his wasp, I would take the lead because I would have already started deploying myself on the flanks. I didn't build a strong DPS unit, so when he came with the Rhino, I could do nothing. And even the Sabers, I didn't have serious units to deal with them. 3 marksmen were not enough. I didn't display any anti-air on the left, so you could even put a Rhino and Wasp on the left and aggro for this tower. I made a lot of mistakes. I wanted to show you guys how the Rhino flank works and how it can be played and how usually you will find it. If you have any comments, do not hesitate to post them. If you have any solution, any ideas, do not hesitate to post so that other players that face this kind of situation and do not know how to answer get an answer. Or you can look up on the internet, as I will do, to find the solutions, because sometimes I can deal with it and sometimes like this one I can't. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give a like, follow. Every help is appreciated, and thank you very much for watching and taking time for me. Have a nice everything. Bye bye.